What's up? What's happening? It's yours truly, Javon Freeman back with another one. I want to start this off by saying add the Instagram page at the b.o.m.experience. Give me a like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and even give me a dislike. Um, Listen, I got me a little heckle, but listening to the MSNBC clip, that was so much more draining than me being up sneezing and spitting all night. Oh, that was so painful. Just listen, the Democratic Party is so off on what they got going on, man. It's just draining. But that's neither here nor there. This video is some real meat and potatoes. Potatoes. Anyway, let's get into it.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to speak frankly at first to the American people. We're nearing $37 trillion in national debt. What does that mean? That means that each and every U.S. taxpayer owes over $323,000.
I didn't hear that right. Hold on.
Over $323,000.
Oh my gosh. I know a lot of people don't know what that means. What that basically means is if you were to say on average, right, say people stop taking out loans. Say we get rid of the loaning system, which I think would be a great thing, but we're so far down the road. It's not gonna happen. But hypothetically, we get rid of the loaning system, right? To clear the debt, every person would have to make $323 just to be at ground zero, meaning you would officially owe nothing, but you would have nothing. We know that's not true. Why? Because you got people still taking out loans. You got people defaulting on their loans, property loans, school loans. Look, you got people that are career students. They got 6 master's degrees, 7 PhDs. They can't pay off their loan debt. Like, can't even make more than $100,000. And then you got somebody like me who's more than qualified to go get secondary education, but understands that it's not something that you just do because somebody said you should do it. I have no debt. The schools paid me, like they were investing in me to be a student, not saying like I had a loan or it's not, and I'm not saying it like, yes, I had scholarships, yes, I had work study, but there was also money separate from all of that where the universities was like, yes, we want you so much, here's more. A lot of people don't even know that you can negotiate that, but you gotta have the qualifications for that. Um, and I left just because I understood the economics of the world. And I'm like, man, it would make sense to be a worker. And even as a worker, I still end up getting the short end of the stick because you got people, yet again, who are, you know, messing up, taking out these loans. And then you got the government saying you're inflating the dollar. So it's making loans skyrocket, inflation skyrocket. It's making the interest rate skyrocket. Um, so now someone like me, who really doesn't have that tax burden or that loan burden, I'm still sitting here working as if I do because of the choices of everybody else and their poor financial decisions. Like, man, that's just crazy. But let's get into it.
Okay, what does that mean? That means when the EPIC, which is the Economic Policy Innovation Center, says we have 18 trillion left. That's it, 18 trillion left to take out, and we're spending $2 trillion in debt every year. Folks, we're at the precipice of a debt, like a debt cycle. We are literally at a point in which the dollar will be worth nothing. What does that mean? And that means,
You know what's crazy? This was bound to happen anyway. The our U.S. government with all its corruption had just slowed down the process. The most notable thing I could think of off the top of the head was Muammar Gaddafi. I think the Shah of Iran was another example of people trying to create their own currencies because the U.S. once the U.S. went public saying that they were on the fiat system because we haven't been backed by gold. A lot of people say we haven't been backed by gold since the 70s. Incorrect. We haven't been backed by gold since the 30s, 1934 to be exact. Um, the fiat system was its official stamp to the rest of the world. Like, yeah, nah, no matter what happens, we ain't coughing up any gold whatsoever. That is what most people know about, and that took place in the 70s. Uh, man, oh man, oh man, like, that's just crazy. And then we're going over an extra $2 trillion. Like, man, that shit adds up quick. Oof.
I mean, we know Social Security goes bankrupt in 8 years, right? Medicare goes bankrupt in 10 years. And then 15 years from now, the dollar is completely devalued and worth nothing. So what does that mean? That means your pension, the money in your bank, your savings is nothing. It's worthless. So what are we doing? We're trying.
And people wonder why BRICS nation is on the rise. For those that don't know, because I know a lot of people don't study this stuff, BRICS is Brazil, Russia, India, and China. And now they have a whole bunch of other small nations that are supporting them as well. But it was just a matter of time. He's saying 15 years, bro. Like, with how much money has been pumped just with COVID alone and all the pandemic reliefs, the PPP loans, all that extra money being printed, bro. That just killed. That was just. I mean, you talk about salt on the wound. Oof, that was just more. Like, my question is, where is the gold? I feel like all the gold is actually in Israel. It would make sense. But then again, if it's in Sweden, I can see that too. But if the gold is still in America, I don't think there's really anything to worry about, because like there has to be there has to be a vault or an area that actually is containing the gold somewhere. Has to. I just hope it's still in America. If they took the gold and moved it somewhere else, oh, that was the dumbest thing they could have done. But then that means that they did it knowing that they were going to bail out on America, whoever they are. I'm not pointing fingers, but anyway, let's get through this. I'm 7 minutes into this video.
Trying to save this country. We're trying to save your pensions. We're trying to save your bank accounts. We're trying to save this country for the next generation. And it would be nice if we had help. But instead, we have people that are fighting us on this. And I think that I would hate to be in the Democratic Party right now, because you're in a really bad bind. You're having to defend all of this crazy spending, all of this crazy waste. So how do you do it? You do ad hominem attacks. You attack the messenger. Oh, Elon Musk, right? He's rich. He must be evil, right? That's the attacks. Really, you can't do any better than that, right? Let's talk on the policy. On the policy, help us. We're trying to save this country. This is what, and Elon Musk, who's making no money doing this, is trying to save this country. Why? Because he has invested in the United States of America more than anybody, right? So I think that we should embrace it. In fact, not a single company, governor of any state would ever turn down Elon Musk and his team of DOGE from coming in and providing free services to right the course and financially in any state or organization. It's ridiculous that we would demonize someone that loves this country so much. Mr. Whitman, the formation of agencies via the executive action is not new, right? The formation of DOGE is not new. Can you, are you familiar with any other previous presidencies where they've formed organizations like DOGE via executive action?
Yeah, so actually the agency that DOGE is occupying is one that was created in a previous administration, so it is something that happens routinely. But I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, there's been the Office of Budget Management was created, Environmental Protection Agency
Environmental
was created,
Protection
the U.S.
Agency,
Digital
EPA.
Service, which is now DOGE, was created all by executive order.
Yeah,
Right? And actually, one other I'd add is USAID was originally created through an executive order by President Kennedy, and then later formalized.
And then, Madam Chair, I have a video I would like to end with that just, let's review, if we could cue that, to remind, and I want to remind my Democratic friends, at a point in which you once had the majority of the American people on your side, this is what your party believed in.
This report tells us how to cut waste, cut red tape, streamline the bureaucracy, change procurement rules, change the personnel rules, and create a government that works better and costs less.
I've read it, and where it says the president should, the president will.
Among the 800 recommendations, eliminating 12% of the federal workforce, merging some government agencies like the FBI, the DEA, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, closing hundreds of government offices outside Washington.
From the day I took office, one of the commitments that I made to the American people was that we would do a better job here in Washington in rooting out wasteful spending. We thought that it was entirely appropriate for our governments and our agencies to try to root out waste, large and small, in a systematic way. It means cutting some programs that I think are worthy, but we may not be able to afford right now. A lot of the action is in Congress and legislative, but in the meantime, we don't need to wait for Congress in order to do something about wasteful spending that's out there. We haven't seen as much action out of Congress as we'd like, and that's why we launched on our own initiative the campaign to cut waste. And we're going to keep on finding every possible